Islam Makhachev versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Guys, I'm going to give you guys my odds for this fight. How I see this fight going. Guys, I'm giving... This one is a lot closer, I think, than people think it is. I think a lot of people are saying Makhachev. And guys, nobody's tooted Makhachev's praises more than me. He's finished his last 5 fights. He's only ever lost 1 fight in his entire career. The man is a killer. But I still think this is a much more difficult fight than most people are anticipating. Volkanovski is a very, very tough opponent. I'm going to get into it. Okay, of course he's a very tough opponent. He's a featherweight champion. He's moving up to lightweight. Guys, for those of you who are not in the know of MMA, it's champion versus champion. This is my favorite kind of fight. Champion versus champion. If Islam Makhachev defeats Alexander Volkanovski, it'll be like when George St. Pierre beat BJ Penn. It'll catapult him into mega fame. And the same thing for Volkanovski, no doubt. Okay, but before I get into all that, let me tell you guys how I see this fight. I think it's 55-45 in favor of Islam Makhachev. I was thinking of giving it 60-40. I went through their footage. I just spent an hour going through all their fights. Okay. And of course, they have a lot more than an hour of fighting, but just reviewing the fights. Of course, I've watched all their fights many times over, and I just wanted to kind of review. I spent an hour reviewing. And Volkanovski's tough, man. He's tougher than people even understand. I'll tell you why. He hits often, he lands often, and he hits hard. He has 2 incredible elements to his game. He hits often, he's busy, and he hits hard. However, the biggest knock on Alexander Volkanovski, we got to be realistic, is he hasn't stopped anybody in a long time. He doesn't seem to have that knockout power. Now, how could he beat Makhachev? What ways could he beat Makhachev? Could he take Makhachev down consistently, pin him, control him, and maybe even sub him? No, he can't. He couldn't do that to the featherweights. And he didn't wrestle anybody that had incredible grappling and wrestling like Makhachev. Nowhere near. Some guys had really good wrestling. Some guys had really good grappling. Nobody had the complete package. If he can take Makhachev down, he won't be able to hold him. Makhachev will get out. Makhachev will outdo him on the ground. This I'm certain of. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. This, I think, we can all agree on. What other path to victory does he have? Can he KO Makhachev? Highly unlikely. Makhachev's been knocked out once. He hasn't been hurt since. And he's had a dozen fights since then. He got knocked out once in round 1, real quick. He made a mistake, chin in the air, got clipped. Never happened again in his career. Okay. Never got wobbled again in his career. What are ways that Volkanovski can win? Not by top game control, not by submission, not by KO. He only has really one path to victory. What is that path? Outpoint and we're talking about the minimum. Okay, what's the minimum? If he can outpoint him 3-2, 3 rounds to 2, that will be the minimum. That's the lowest bar. Can he do the lower? Can he get past the lowest bar? If the answer is yes, well, he's got a shot to win. I don't think he can outpoint Makhachev 3 rounds to 2. I don't think so. I don't think he can get to 3, much less 4. Why? He will get taken down at least 3 times in this fight. In my opinion, it's at least 3. And each takedown will lead to a victory in that round. Makhachev is going to win that round. Why, guys? Makhachev's ground control is too strong. It's too dominant. His last 5 fights, every single time he took down his opponents, none of them, save Oliveira, got back to their feet and lived to tell about it. They all eventually got subbed. They all eventually got finished. Oliveira also got finished. He got out from his half guard pressure in round 1. He did a beautiful escape actually in round 1. He did a fantastic Kuzushi off balanced Makhachev and got away. Round 2, he got clipped, he got dropped, he got tapped, I've talked about it in the past. That katakatami, that arm triangle. Oliveira tapped immediately on that arm triangle as soon as Makhachev passed the half guard, started establishing pressure immediately. A black belt, somebody who's been a black belt for over 10 years, tapped feverishly. He had to tap feverishly. Imagine how much pressure is in that hold. Guys, I personally rather go out. I don't think I would ever tap like that to choke. To a joint lock, yes. Somebody's breaking my knee, yes, I'll tap feverishly. Somebody's breaking my arm, yes, I'll tap feverishly. To a choke, what's the worst thing that can happen in a choke? You pass out. Imagine why a black belt that's so experienced is tapping feverishly like that. Let me tell you why. He's never felt that kind of strength. He's never felt that kind of squeeze. Islam Makhachev is far more special than most people think. Now, I'm trying to convince myself I should change it. I should make it 70-30 for Makhachev. But honestly, watching Volkanovski, there's another major element that made me raise Volkanovski's chances. If you look at Volkanovski, okay, he's a short guy. It's hard to double leg a short guy. Why? They're so much lower to the ground. Okay, I used to train with these two twins, Native American wrestlers. They were like 230, 40 pounds, 230, twin brothers, 240 pounds. And they were short, stocky. They were like 5'5", short, stocky. They were fire hydrants. Shooting on their legs was absurd. It made no sense. They were thick, they were strong, they were built, they were powerful, and they were short. It's tough to get underneath their hips. It's tough. A shorter man has an easier time defending against a double leg, single leg attack. Now, Makhachev is much taller than Volkanovski. Level changing. He's going to have to level change low. I still think he can do it. I'm not trying to say he won't take him down. I'm confirming with you guys that I really believe he'll take him down. Yet, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a little bit harder. Smaller weights move around a lot more. And Volkanovski is a non-stop moving machine. He doesn't stop moving. The takedowns aren't going to be that easy. They might end up being more challenging. Makhachev fought two shorter guys. And he scrambled with them hard. Davy Ramos, Arman Tsakurian, he scrambled with them hard. It's harder to sub a guy with shorter limbs. Believe me, trying to knee bar or arm bar a guy with shorter limbs, it's not that easy. Trying to get the rear naked choke on them. They're short and stout. Their limbs are tight closer to their body. I know it sounds strange, but it's just not that easy to sub them. What would you rather snap in half? A long branch or a short, thin branch? Well, you have less leverage. It's the same thing when you're trying to break an arm. You can sometimes, in certain submissions, you have less leverage on a shorter arm. I think he's going to have more trouble with Volkanovski in terms of level change, getting underneath him, scooping up those legs, bringing him down to the ground. He's going to have more trouble than usual. He's done it in the past. He took down Tsakurian. He took down Davy Ramos. I think he's going to take down Volkanovski. Those two are very accomplished wrestlers. Davy Ramos, Tsakurian, very accomplished wrestlers. And he still got the job done. And he still took them down, but he couldn't sub them. Now, Ramos and Tsakurian, far more developed in the grappling realm, far more than Volkanovski. I know Volkanovski is a good grappler, but that's not his forte. That's not how he wins fights. Okay, he's a good grappler, but he's not a great grappler. Makhachev, Ramos, Abu Dhabi world champion, by the way. And Tsakurian, a lifetime long wrestler. Okay. I think he takes Volkanovski down. I think he controls him. I think he banks in 3 rounds at the very least. And I also think he'll finish Volkanovski on the ground. His last 5 fights, he's shown that he can finish, control. It seems almost hopeless to be underneath Islam Makhachev. I think one or two takedowns, he's going to get a finish. 1 or 2, maybe 3. Maybe he needs 3. But eventually, he gets a finish. Now, I just want to comment before I open it up to you guys on the striking. Pound for pound, I think if this was a kickboxing fight and they were the same size, same weight, I would give it to Volkanovski. Volkanovski's busier. He's busier. Islam Makhachev is not that busy standing up. If you guys notice his fights, he picks and pokes. He throws kicks. He tries to counterpunch. Yes, he landed a beautiful hook. He's a southpaw, don't forget. He landed a beautiful hook on Oliveira, but he's not that busy. He's conservative. He clinches, he shoots, he picks and pokes when he punches, when he strikes. He's a hard hitter. I think he's a phenomenal hitter. I think he's a hard hitter. I know he doesn't have a lot of knockouts on his record, but notice every time he hits people, he hits them, they get a very serious reaction from his punches, and then he shoots. Okay, so Islam Makhachev is not the type of guy who's going to box you up. No. The second he can take you down, he does it. Okay, when he knocked Oliveira down, he jumped on it. He could have stood Oliveira back up. That's what Gaethje did. Gaethje knocked Oliveira down, said, hey, stand back up. I don't want to wrestle with you on the ground, even if you're half there. Even if you're discombobulated, I don't want to go on the ground with you. Makhachev's not the type of guy. He uses his strikes, and he's a hard hitter, I could tell you. I'm watching the strikes. I'm watching his strikes and how people react to his strikes. He's a hard hitter. He has hard kicks. He has hard punches. However, the second he lands a hard punch, you'll notice Makhachev shoots. If Makhachev connects a shot, he'll throw one or two max, and then you're going to see a takedown. The other phenomenal issue with Volkanovski trying to win this fight is he has to deal with the incredible judo of Islam Makhachev. If they clinch, it's a losing formula. Every minute they clinch, it's a losing formula for Volkanovski. Why? Volkanovski is going to get more tired. Volkanovski is going to get wrapped up, and he's eventually going to get taken down. If they clinch for a prolonged period of time, Volkanovski will get taken down. I personally think Islam Makhachev is going to end up double-legging him because Volkanovski has a very good awareness about clinching. He's actually very, very smart. He controls the distance beautifully. He doesn't clinch for free. I think Makhachev is eventually going to tag him and take him down. Now, here's the other colossal obstacle in Volkanovski's path to victory. It's a colossal obstacle. I don't know how he gets around this. If Islam Makhachev kicks to the leg, he will get put on his back. So he has to box for 5 rounds. And Islam Makhachev is a good kicker. So Islam Makhachev will have, like I said, guys, if it was just a kickboxing fight and these two guys were the same weight, I would give it to Volkanovski in a kickboxing fight. Strict kickboxing. However, Volkanovski does not have the luxury to kick in this fight. If he kicks in this fight, he'll end up on his back. Makhachev is going to easily shoot a double leg on a kick, and it'll be Volkanovski on his back, and it'll be a nightmare. Don't try to guillotine Islam Makhachev. It won't work. Nick Lentz is one of the top guillotiners ever in UFC. He couldn't get close to a guillotine on Islam Makhachev. Makhachev is too seasoned. He understands guillotine too well. Guillotine is highly unlikely, guys. Highly, highly unlikely. If you guys didn't see the Nick Lentz versus Islam Makhachev, you will know exactly what I mean. Islam Makhachev was completely immune to the Nick Lentz guillotine. And Nick Lentz has one of the best guillotines ever in UFC. Ever. Okay? Trust me. I've had like 2-3 guys fight him. He's a phenomenal guillotiner. I've studied him well. He's a phenomenal, phenomenal guillotiner. Okay, guys, that's what I have to say about this fight. I think it's Islam Makhachev 55-45, but still, I am incredibly excited about this fight. Maybe Volkanovski proves me wrong.